Hello and welcome. This is a continuation of our Fortinet series. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the initial configuration of a FortiGate firewall. So we have set up previously, we completed the installation, but now we need to change the name, for example, configure the interfaces. Previously, we have done the default DHCP IP address of the management interface. I'm going to change the management interface and also provide a static IP. And this eval license only allows 3 interfaces, so all 3 interfaces we're going to configure. But let's log in. We have the admin user, we've set up a password, and now we log in, and this is showing the serial number of the machine as a name. We're going to change, and here I've got FortiGate 01, so I will go to config system global, and then it changed, the shell changed the global configuration. Here we set the host name, so quite straightforward commands, host name and FortiGate-01. Okay, so now the system name is changed. We need to do a later reboot, but before that, if I exit, all the changes will take into effect straight on from the command line, but some changes we might need to reboot. So here you see the machine name now changed. What I need to see is actually what's the configuration status. So if I say get system status, and I'm after the license because we're using eval license. So if you see this firewall is deployed as NAT mode, normal firewall, and then the license should be somewhere. It gives us, the license over here. You can see it says valid. It gives us 1 CPU, and then the rest will go through in the details. So now you see the firewall name has changed, but the IP address of the 3 interfaces, if I go back and see the settings from my virtual platform, you can see I'm only allowed for this with this eval license to only configure 3 interfaces. So the first one is connected to my broadband, and the second, which is VMnet1, is connected to a subnet I'm trying to show as an internal LAN, and this one, let this represent the DMZ. That's all we can do with this eval license. So let's assume that VMnet1, it's our local LAN, and here I've got the local LAN as 10.1.1. The external is same as my broadband router, and I'll show you what we have in terms of the interfaces. So if we go to get system interface, if you say get system interface, it will actually show you all the details including layer 2. But if you say physical, then it's quite short and nice to see in the console. So you can see the speed, the IP address, and all that details. But you see the port we are after is port 1, and it is showing DHCP and it's getting this IP. That's fine, we can use it. But if you reboot, or maybe the IP address is gone and you have a large subnet, you won't be able to figure out what IP it gets, so you have to look for it. And so this time we're going to change from DHCP to static. So let's change the mode from DHCP to static first. So we go to the interface configuration. So if we say config system interface, then we go to the specific interface we're going to change, and if we say edit port 1, that's the interface we're in. So now you are in the configuration of port 1, and it was DHCP. We need to change it to static. So how do we do that? We say set mode static, and then we end and exit. If we say now get system interface physical, now it changed it from DHCP to static. Now we can give an IP address. So let's go back to the interface configuration, get config system interface, and then it asks us which interface, and we say port 1, edit port 1, and then from port 1, we are now in port 1 configuration. We can give it an IP address, set IP, and we say 192.168.1.224. The IP was 224 anyway, but what we're going to do, we're configuring it as static instead of DHCP, and that's now configured. Now it shows the IP static and it's .192.168.1.224. We can do some other changes from that interface. Actually, I don't want to manage the management interface. I want it to be in the LAN, so we can change those settings in the web UI or the GUI, but we can also do it from here. If you go back to config interface, so that interface is now configured, and we have the machine name changed. What we can do, the rest of the configurations we can complete from the web UI. So if we open 192.168.1.224, then that takes us to the web UI admin, and then I provide the password. Then that takes me to login. We can do that later if we need to, and I don't want to see this. So here we are. Here's the dashboard, the status. If we go to the interfaces, if we minimize that in the dashboard, if we minimize, we go to the network and go to the interfaces, then we can do the interface configurations. This one we will do in another video, but for the initial configurations of the name change and go into the mode of the interface from DHCP to static, that's all, and I hope to see you. That's all, and see you in the next video.